Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
Have you ever been swallowed up? I'm sorry. It's easy to joke on these days, even when shit isn't funny. You ever been so lost that you avoided being found? I'm dead living, but dead from missing things that fulfill me. And I'm screaming to an empty hallway with no echoes, leaving my thoughts beneath my house floors like swept rug combos and the bruised knees every time I fall, building frustration that no one can hear me. Maybe I'm just bugging. I'm looking at these walls, the pressures I feel closed in, and all I can say is, here's ringing as my eternal chambers haunted by abandonment that is simply not understood that I'm hurting. My body is tired of putting on more emotions. The new plan is silence and solitude. Even when I can't escape myself, how can I make my torso, Casper, and my spine stop whispering others' opinions until I'm broken down? Do I even make sense? Why can't others make sense of me? I'm so fucking angry, and all they see is shards of a man breaking. And to them, I'm just taking losses. To me, well, I feel like they're right. My feet apart, rooted torment, wet floors from the tears I couldn't drop. Only knowing to mop away my emotions, I feel so weak, playing strong, but my shoulders cave burners, my knees buckle, and yet these hallways makes no sound. Trust their voices turn mute. I'm stuck, tuning in disarray, this ghost. I may left my heart to be a splintered cell, turn myself stranger to my own body like I'm a different entity, a variant of misery venting, left me wounded, trying to learn how to bleed so I could feel again. I feel like my trauma's last breath. So I can't waste my time expressing when it will just sail one's mind. I'm tired of being a trend of self-hate. The blunt force recoil death echoes these chambers as much as I'm told speak up. My blank face is screaming. Blinks asking for help, lips stuttering to be consoled. How many times have I referenced my body, a verbal autopsy, outline regret? I spent 20s walking in survivor remorse. A year later, I'm still trying to accept blaming myself for deaths that didn't involve me, thinking of ways I could switch places with the dead. I lost a little weight, so the suit be suited right in the casket of my survivor skill. I'm at a standstill. Eternally, I'm shaking. Knowing a couple of niggas my age be dropping at the weight that I can't get off. I keep feeling guilty of not wanting to celebrate life, not having an answer to why did black men my age get a chance. You ever sit with your thoughts when traveling? Each thought in the scenario of dying. To be honest, I hate feeling like this is because I feel selfish, wishing my demise whole life could be at you at any moment. It's my birthday, and I remember how somebody was killed 3 years ago, born the same age day as me. I'm selfish because I can only pray for your rest in peace. We wasn't the closest, but I wish I met you. I have a mind of cluttered with flustered regrets, time that I wish to dust away, but it seems to only increase my life of disarray. I turn my emotions off with a blind eye in hopes of sweeping my aggressions away. We were told to take a deep breath, to calm our nerves. But my lungs are so filled, regret with a capacity of only anxiety, just waiting to exhale all these toxins and heal. Suddenly, I could operate in spoken word stanzas, inhale a bunch of the right words together to breathe enough wordplay to hide and seek from the question. An expected answer being okay, saying I need help, but I don't seek help. Burden tendencies, I seek nothing. Truth is on me running on empty. It's a full throttle of a crash course thought of denying. Drinking bleach seemed irrational, but lately the idea feels practical, so I'm waiting for the time to exhale. And it actually calms me down, using this writing technique to iron out my suicidal tendencies. I'm a 90s baby. I remember growing up, I felt safe, not yet exposed to this world's horror. I remember when Wendy's was yellow paper. I'd take that over the 4 for 4 any day of the week, when the only things I worried about was getting the cha-cha slide right. Now I wonder if I'll survive some nights, making escape routes in my head to ease my what ifs. I'm reminiscing on the good times, like how different life was compared to now. House parties didn't come with warnings. Remember the time we was all used to love with Will Smith getting jiggy with it? When the Fresh Prince left his Fresh Prince on records and respin them? It gives live in the summertime. But all kids want to do these days is spin blocks. Tote a Smith and Wesson because being good is treated as a corny lesson. Stick up for funds, making it another whole jazz hands. Now hear my rant. I know a few jaws who traded their gifts for grips to be a grizzly on the block, knowing they missed trades to be so young and choose violence. The youth became militant, like a black makes you vigilant. Take me back to when we traded Pokemon cards, not our lives, or become monsters reborn from hatred. I miss arguing over who has the best fit on. Nowadays, you might get robbed clean with that fit on. It's your move. I hate seeing y'all on live flashing them pistols. Funny how these young boys drafted a hood over hoops, a bubble coat instead of the white coat, when both segues to a doctor dressed for gunplay, suited in caskets, the wrong law case, just to be in the trenches. Call that a full court press. And ain't it trifling that y'all want to be so hood because the media is into those things? Ain't it ironic the media blocks your accolades after death because of how you dress for the gram? We traded graduations for hood evaluations, like being good is a penalty, so we bash any sign of it. Many T's rustle, and to avoid him, they will sin. Too many aiming to be future and becoming targets before they can raise the next of kin. We are the men in black, not caskets, but if men keep reacting, to be more caskets. If you're not trapping, you lame. If you speak up, you out of lane. Might be Jordans who create a zone charge for just being a being. Nah, take me back to the 90s. Remember when Rugrats was primetime TV? Tommy, now I see people crave power and have no problem turning others to ghosts to get there. In those barbecue days, drinking the little blue drinks because that's the only flavor that mattered. Someone's drunk relative singing before I let you go. The only courage that was cowardly was the liquid kind, and even then the full house praised it. Those cookouts turned to war zones late June, from whining your hips to scattering when they sprayed them clips. When did being someone else become cool? It's something about watching the kids you grow up with turn potential talent into fatal attraction. I don't remember when life got twisted upside down. We hit the 9-9 of 2000s, then moved to drill music. Lean pills flashing for a few thousands. Music made me tone deaf to the real world. Now, I prefer silence over the beat drop. Headshots isn't a family photo no more. Headshots is the go-to for the vessel to go through. The tempo switched to murder. You be bad. I acted like a tubie, becoming violence. Best goofy. I remember when I didn't have to think about all this, when everything seemed to be a fever dream. And now I'm just sick, stomaching reality, not even sure what the future holds. I'm half a bastard, clinging on to the man I resemble, a side of honor, but also a side of disgust. Often remembering if the roots that tie me to this family tree is tree rotted when I was conceived. Desperate to alter my look from matching personalities, this mirror shards the reality reflecting mannerisms. I hate to feel broken, picking the pieces that still holds my love yet. How many times can a child forgive? I felt more like the man in my house with no proper shoes to fill in. I laced up my anger through petals we call family. Compressing this feeling, no tears to reduce because confessing doesn't change the product from his cloth. Torn from disappointments, I see traits of him. So I made traces of sin. Do you ever want to swap out your kin, the look of a parent feeling scarred? Does that make me a marksman? My love for him is like a phoenix. It dies, it rises again. I was born fire, ash regret more than the fact that I might be the sperm of a father that probably wished I was a blank. I hate to see my conscience constructed this way. That look, the same look in my father's eye when it meets mine, indicates the remnants of a man that he despised. I learned my ABCs to retreat. If looks could kill, I see that maybe his plan A was for my moms to partake in plan B. In return, I'm suffering by the degree of a temperature C that I burn my family moments that was captured in his lies. Time will tell this deadbeat song I sing like it's a father's time, a man around all the time, but hours always felt less. My 100 is 50, cut to 25 to quarter. This sense of hatred forged and posted decisions of a son to a cancer. This pain spread like his sign. Instead, I do poetry for tens because I don't think I'm worthy of high praise from him. Feel like a fatherless child, I feel guilty, expecting more when his father was less. Maybe I was the counselor that caused him to do the most, which is the bare minimum, and you expect me to praise what he's supposed to do? You, yet based on assumptions, you see two parents in my life and call it perfect. That this comes from a place of ungratefulness. Never seeing I have to grate myself down to cut the bad. I see it's not hate, it's a want for better. I have to keep this feeling tucked in because it's not masculine. It's selfish. Knowing others don't get the opportunity to meet their dad. Dare I say I wish to relate? Dare the line say the thought hasn't crossed my mind? Y'all have the privilege to imagine what you're missing. Fathers like I have to live and witness on and off again disappointment. Who he's been was always clear and it's just hard to accept. Do I have your attention now? He's my trigger warning waiting to happen. To the risk of putting faith in. If y'all wonder if I hate him, I don't.
15 people have stopped by today looking in my window. I've gotten 5 offers of advice, 4 condemnations, 3 reasons I'm doing it wrong, 2 come-on sailors, and 1 who just stood with a mean look, tapping on the glass to remind me she's out there alone. 1 more time will be 2 times too many. I've got 3 sides to my story. Though the 4 winds have scattered me, my 5 fingers still clutch this microphone. I am more than 15 sets of eyes can see. Thank you for stopping by. Please, come again.
They built a road to space out of minimum wage workers, drove over them with Teslas while complaining they're all shirkers. I'm not saying it's surprising. Greed is not exactly novel. But this Ponzi scheme writ large requires the lower classes to grovel at the feet of those who hold the cash, except they apparently don't. At least not when it's time to pay their tax. That's why. It's not that they won't. Of course, why should they have to? They don't use public infrastructure. Their trucks are flown by unicorns, with freight by Loch Ness monsters. Let's use it all. Why not? Healthcare's going swell. It's totally reasonable to go into debt just because you weren't feeling well. The great lie of individualism is fraying, ripping at the seams. It ignores our lived realities. It's too comfortable at the extremes. Humanity has always thrived because of compromise, because we take care of each other, because collectively we thrive. We evolved into these creatures so dominant, so complex, tamed the wild through invention with our giant prefrontal cortex. But the thing about these big old brains is that they are too large. So we are born inherently useless, needing someone else's charge. Without the crucial ability to care or share or compromise, we'd never survive childhood. As a species, we would die. Now, trickle down was just a fairy tale, as only the richest fill their cup, paying off the two-party circus where every issue's a dust-up. It's not surprising, though, hypocrisy from the ground up. Founding fathers spoke of freedom while owning people. That's fucked up. Generations of inequity via the inherited wealth hand-up. Stop arguing about minutia. Try helping the poor to move on up. Someone has to do the cooking and the cleaning and wash up. They do not deserve to struggle because the rich won't just cough up what the market is demanding. For their labor, just pay up. Maybe it's not too late to save it if you start from bottom up, but right now, I'm sorry to say it, you might want to just give up. The North American dream's a nightmare. So stop sleeping. Rise up.
Requiem for Nikki G. I will warn you that this will be more rant than poem, because I be more angry than poet. I read my first Nikki Giovanni piece late. After I read Mercy by Rudy Francisco, I spiraled my way through history, learned what it meant to be an activist, a poet, a queer Black woman, me. But now, when there is no more fight left in her body, someone says, she cannot be pro-Black and love a white woman, meaning both white and woman want to erase it all, how easy we are to discard our heroes, say, she must couldn't love herself. It's gotta be self-hate, as if half herself ain't also woman. Rather her go 50-50 with a Black man, dripped out in the white man's patriarchy, singing, once he get on, he leave her ass for a white girl. The revolution ain't a battle fought in the bedroom. They act like pro-Black was birth, got its Black mother's eyes and its white mother's supremacy, like them poems wrote themselves in bastard Black lettering. Tell me what you think the perfect Black activists look like, and I will show you a graveyard without tombstones, just the hills they died on, the same way people say, be like Martin, when what they mean is dead. And you say, don't be like Nikki, when what you mean is love. I'm tired of translating them quiet parts out loud for y'all. Got ancestors rolling over in their graves, but when I say rest in peace, this time, y'all gonna shut the fuck up and let this one sleep.
Usually a villain origin story starts off kind of boring. You know, happy-go-lucky kid, completely innocent, probably ideal student, top of all the classes. There's something tragic happened, and suddenly little Jimmy ain't so friendly. Timmy got tired of being bullied. Cindy suddenly stopped feeling pretty, and Kennedy's homie stole the girl of his dreams. So now, boom, there you go. Villain's origin story. See, a villain's history ain't always allegory, just simply his stories on why he stopped smiling and started wearing a mask so no one could see him crying, slowly dying while trying to pry away what life messed up by causing stir up in society. Villain thrown into the recycle bin and repeat the cycle over and over again on how to make a villain. Like, first option, make enemies out of friends. cause a mix up in there within their communication. Twist it up, get one to completely give it up. I even suggest throwing a girl in the mix. Or option 2, get one to feel completely used. Confuse their intentions and never mention that you're just pretending to be their best friend, then get them believing that you'll be there all the way to the end, then leave them. Man, I fuck their feelings. Then tell them to get over it. Set their entire world on fire with a gaslight. Like they should have known that you wasn't their type. Disrupt their brains with stains of mental pains. Like, shit that keeps them up at night. Because it becomes a sight when you see all their good quality leave their body. Like, don't that sound like the origins of a villain story? I mean, you got to attack the things that they love. Aim for the heart. Hit the marks that will trigger the suffering. Got to get them to say, yeah, I'm not doing that again. Because that'll be one small chip away at their existence. Because now what was once a part of them is being held back with restriction. This is essential in creating the perfect villain. Getting someone to say, man, fuck your feelings. Where it becomes the best feeling to them. And that should solve the sanity problem. Oh, and then take away their optimism. Make all their good traits become a problem. Display that people will never like them, completely take their light from them. Like, question. You ever seen a villain get the girl without the You ever seen the villain get the girl without the manipulation? Making her heart throb with words, sharing about your dreams as a team, conquering the world? Nope. The girl just like the bad guys, which is why the nice guys are always going to finish last. But the moment that Joker drew on that mask, here come Harley Quinn's old thirsty ass. And if you ask me, a villain's love story is never born because it's fun and yet allegory. Knowing that for each other, they both can get crazy. Like, look how long it took Spider-Man to get Stacy, Gwen, trying to be a gentleman and protect her innocent, but did he get the girl? Nope. He jumped the distance and ended up killing a relationship without even getting a chance with her. But I'll tell you, though, the moment that he put on that black suit and changed how he moved, here comes, he definitely got Mary Jane. See, the villain wins over and over again. And yeah, you even throw in Batman. Because Gotham's government is the problem, and yet Batman's helping him. And they let him get away with prostitution. How else do you think he's getting all them women? But yet, you got to retire the capable crusade and stop being persuaded that it's not okay to be a villain. I mean, it don't even have to be about the killing. As long as you're drilling holes through hearts and jumpstarting their origin stories, because you never know the type of heart that you diminish. So the healing could very well be the beginning of a villain's origin story. I mean, of a villain's origin. So just be mindful.
When I was born, my father taught me a killing joke, that a bad man could never love his Robin. Seeking comfort in family made me a John Doe, watching mother face as father used physical humor to make her laugh. Taught me what it meant to wear a mask. He turned what could have been any sense of joy into injustice, justifying his cruelty to a adjacent toddler. I used to wear my covers like a hood. They were stained red from mother's hugs. I just so vaguely remember the feeling of her warmth. I wonder if she wondered where I am. I wonder if this woman carries will for a young man, anything better than a green jewel used in this ring. What should have been the will to grow became defeat in the forms of kryptonite. Crazy that even broken shaws can be gone in a flash, pointing out every trauma, reversing on every blessing, living in every second, hanging by every lesson. Superman raised in solitude, only born abomination. Doctorate and reminiscing over doomsdays. I survived the legacy virus only to live in hiding, afraid of the beast inside a ghost along for the ride. I haven't felt in control not once since I arrived. I wish life was as easy as saying Shazam and boom, a hero is there. But instead I got Gotham police telling me mother won't be able to see me again. That this tag along ride was the same thing that would put us and her son's soul in a grave. That every time I looked up at the moon, it would give me visions of the moment Denzel snapped. Questioning. Is this the face you put on when you're in pain? Is this what it means to be Martian that wants to hunt man down at the age of 5? I was making deals with demons, Constantine thinking I could cool this rage if I was incredible, if I never cried, if I always smiled, if they never saw what it was behind this clay face. I changed from misfit to mystique, using emotions as my superpowers. In darkest nights and brightest days, I still don't feel safe. Her Deadpool still haunt my mind to this day. Bringing disdain of X genes given by father. I'm my own cure and yet also the bane. This the dark side, the entity, living life upside down, man. If this is what it means to be human, then I'd rather be the other kind. Kindly stop looking at me. I hate being watched when I'm on screen. Changing channels, I can see who made me. Was a little bit of a control freak, gave me brothers, but was not brothers by blood. They were mentally ill children of Trigon. Me, I was suicidal, saying, mother, may I die by the oven and black fire. I can't handle being conformed to this high. My gizmos told me red X can be placed on wrist, a quick slate of the knife, and I'm gone with the smoke. A tempest back to the terror, hoping the ashes stay dust and don't revive like Phoenix. Let me ask you a question. If I wanted to die since the age of 5, then why does death never find me? It's always off to the side, a shift from landing the bullseye. I've seen the Banshee in the middle of the night, so why doesn't she whisper like Black Bolt and send me off to Asgard or Helheim instead of left on Earth Zero? By the age of 13, I realized death will never come and give me salvation. Azos, instead of invested in isolation, of judgment, undying, a little beast dishing out as much pain as I felt for being forced to live, living La Vida Loca in the literal sense of the words.
In the beginning was her and me, and in the beginning was a cacophony. 13 beautiful sirens singing beautiful songs in every language into the dark. 'Cause in the beginning there was no light, and in the beginning there was no reason to fight. In the beginning was a mermaid and the sea, and in the beginning was the world tree. In the beginning was an angel of death, and on the 7th day, even God had to rest. See, we all need a breather from time to time to escape the cacophony in our minds. Sirens going off in my head because these sirens won't stop singing. Even beauty can be deadly like tornadoes when they're spinning. 'Cause in the beginning there was a flood, and at the apocalypse there will be blood. As the simple wolf devours the stars and moon, Ragnarok waits. As Moses warns, there will be a plague. But it's not over until the baritone mourns and the mermaid sheds a tear, and the cacophony of sirens you no longer hear.
Pray that you didn't miss the bus. There's an energy drink dancing down your throat, and all you can contemplate is creators on the moon. Last night you dreamt that you were a carnival act, being blasted 50 feet into the air from a cannon in a cute girl's mouth. She simply said, "I love you." Like I loved you was never guilty of being a flight risk, could ever safely land a cracked heart and crooked smile. Beware of first-class tickets to tumbling boulders. Beware of all boarding passes and weight limits and unchecked personal baggage carried out by ghosts and remixed into power ballads. Beware of hard rock bands and or rocked up hard crack rocked out gods with their groupies and backstage passes, and the fallen and their hard-hitting headstones that just keep falling for headaches and hardcores with mudslides voted most likely not to be mistaken and or taken lightly in fist fights with lightning that ain't never seen anything of my likes. Ain't never scared anything that I'm like. I am no longer fighting gods for their innocence, no longer fighting for my slipping grips on my innocence. Now I'm fighting over unholy warlords, bench warrants, and every guilty ongoing, going in and on and off on every one of my convictions and their guilty sentences, as if all I grim reaped wasn't all I ever sowed. As if I wasn't always harvested from fruitful grapes of wrath that wasn't always all ready to come in with what wasn't already bruised skin. A headliner headlining a headstone right now. My father's name is still starring in an unmarked grave, so no longer am I a son of a gun CP Maze. I am that son of a bitch calling God out by his goddamn government name, pulling up to every collection plate bent off a bottle of Clark Kent smelling like leave me the fuck alone. It's so hard to call on God from anywhere when all of our phone booths are gone. What do you say, mortal man, to a lowercase God? I'm sorry. You're an attention whore. Really, you are.
I rode shotgun on all your bad decisions. Too young for that front seat, but there I perched, legs too short to reach the rubber mats, watching, learning, neural pathways branching out, looping back, growing in and over themselves, forging these fucked up freeways. I still have to travel through the maze of my own mind. I bet if you looked at them, they'd form a Rorschach test, where the only possible interpretation is mommy issues. I grew up helpless in the face of decisions made for me, forced into relationships that I was too naive to question, too innocent to protect myself, to brace for impact. Even when we were taking hairpin turns at breakneck speeds, trying to outrun your demons, we never made it. They simply took possession of both of us, an ignominious inheritance. And when we'd crash the car, we'd get a new one. And when the therapist said I had valid concerns, we'd get a new one. And when I became too hard to share a home with, you got a new one. Is it my trauma talking when I say that sometimes I miss getting to ride up front? At least then I knew you wouldn't leave me behind.
So many buttons to push. I abuse green tea. Though this may come as a shock, I always need something hot in my mouth, and the roundness of the mug feels good in my clutch. I've had 3 pots already, and my insides are inundated with antioxidants. I will be up all night, pissing. I abuse spinach, bathe it in butter, layered with noodles and soft Italian cheeses, stuffed in quiches, featured in dips and wrapped in phyllo. Antioxidants abound. I abuse this temple, ham hocks hanging between barrels of bourbon, gummy bears, jelly beans, and licorice sticks to give me heft, hard candy, popcorn toffee, and sticky things to break my teeth.
The pen commands you to write. The pen commands me to express words in problematic forms. The pen commands to say it with your chest. The pen commands you to stop and listen. The pen commands you to spill hot till nothing's left, till you feel more empty than the moment you thought writing your feelings would give you some resemblance of peace. The pen commands that you gatekeep people who can't read what you have written. You gatekeep people who can't perform as well as you. You gatekeep those who are too sensitive to hear your words. Your pen commands you to live and die, but what you lay in a notebook, a journal, a page, a loose leaf, a PC, a phone, verbally, anything you say exhales you from the breath of fresh air you beg to give. You sink deeper away from the meaning you wrote to begin with. Sink into the same ink you had the audacity to use against any peace of mind you thought you might get. Revisions. The pen commands that I write in cryptics, that I use crypt tales mixed with goosebumps to raise the dead. With that being said, upon a dark and cold road, a flash mixed with bangs, buds, reds, of roses, a tapestry of unfortunate situations led to this creation. The sounds of God's plan to ring in each drum of a heartbeat that won't ever see the masterpiece it will create. To rise above while endlessly falling, irony turned to pyrite on this yellow road, stained red with wilted buds of dreams that make little fate. Thankfully, it resembles the etches of death. Who told you the author was alive? You are dealing with living dead, a page from the Necronomicon. Giving scriptures like Bible verses, this pen commands that I quote some of the greatest alive, but like a child trying to find out what it means to be an adult, ignoring my father's commands, looking like Samuel, I thought I could wear the crown without practicing. Stepped into the prefectures of conscious thought, thinking I could outsmart sin itself, like I ain't know what happened to the first of my kin, like I ain't get a warning shot when God said, be grateful I didn't take your ribs, but only left a few dents that will suppress your breathing. He said, don't suppress your gifts or I'll take it without hesitation. Hesitantly, I hesitated for a second and almost lost. It can only be in the garden when willing to tend to it. Self-reflections. Stained windows, Mirrors and reflective surfaces, showing faces I don't wish on the worst of my enemies, realizing healing was never to be fixed, but to understand the man in the mirror making changes was picking up the shattered remains, despite the sharp edges that kept trying to cut any part of you, brave enough to pick up the pieces, trying to embrace the blood running from veins only made me feel vanity was my true face, intoxicated with thoughts that being good was being healed. But when you look back at lessons, even God had to kill more than the devil when needed. His son may be labeled a criminal, but did you ever notice he goes by two names? The first son or the first son, Samuel bringer of light, or Jesus the anointed. Both sides, different stories, but all one man, a man who was pure as God. The being who created him dies and revives after taking in all of human sin. Strange coincidence that the one we are told to step on is also known for carrying the weight of all human sin. Why would there be a hell for mortal sins if his son promised to take it all on upon him? What if the true meaning of being born in his image means that the very concept of free will, humans create, build, take down, destroy, but we foolishly took the thoughts too far. A bite from the tree, which in itself is fun and lies. God said death. The snake said knowledge of good and bad. Man lived a fate worse than death. We learned to understand the duality. The price of our arrogance was to be God-like without the lifespan to truly understand the concepts. We blame the snake for calling out God to see, but don't take accountability that we still outreached hands and consume the knowledge not meant to see. So yes, in God's name, we pray for the release of knowledge we weren't meant to bear.
Sometimes I can see things straight through to the bone, to the story that's been told 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways. I can see all the moving parts, how they move together, the rhythm of their flow, where the river goes and where it empties out. I see, for example, practitioners of the dark arts throw their all into the practicing of evil. Every waking moment they have is devoted to these practices. They are never satisfied. And in truth, they never will be. In all the histories of all the universes that ever were or are now, the dark has never beat the light. Maybe it snuffs it out a source, maybe it snuffs out a source or two here and there, but light always returns. Comes with the dawn as the sun blinks its eyes and gives Mother Earth a good morning kiss, like any good lover would. And this drives the darkness mad. No matter what it does or how long it tries to cast its shadow, no matter how much sadness, darkness and its practitioners might bring at the end of the episode, as the sun rises, darkness has no choice but to melt away like the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. Today's villain is just the latest in a long line of wannabes trying their hand at destroying the world. And one other one, if I may. Does anybody remember Charlie Mingus? He of large girth, mama's pride and joy, who could wrap his hands around the neck of a big stand-up bass and walk you to the moon and back, swing and ring the heavens with that sound, solid, like 2 feet placed firmly on the ground, hands outstretched to the sky. Does anybody remember Charlie Mingus and the notes that came through him? The melodies he put his own spin on, winding and twisting, shaking off all convention and stale practicality to reach deep inside and pull a rabbit out of our hat. Yeah, the big man walked and people just followed with plenty of room to do their own dance of jazz and freedom as composers workshopped. Sidemen blew, clubs filled up with those who wanted to feel the music Mingus made. People watched as he inspired generations, then and yet to come. Ask any musicians from way back when, and they'll all say the same thing. Mingus was hot. Hotter than July, hotter than a strip of tar that feels the wheels from above and runs through a furnace called Texas, hotter than the hottest jalapeno, hot ever made to be hot. Does anybody remember Charlie Mingus? He spoke his last notes in Mexico, south of the border to many, just another place called home to some. In my wildest eyes, I imagine he stepped aground, took a look around, and said, "What a day to blow a solo." I wonder if people really do remember Charlie Mingus, or just say they do to be polite at parties. I wonder if people can feel that bass beat like a heart with every step it walked when in his able hands. I wonder if people can remember anything at all. But then I think it really doesn't matter because I do. And I will tell the tale again. Does anybody remember Charlie Mingus?
I don't know if I'm running or coping, straying escapism, painting daydream to reality, trying to hide grief into murals, pretend even trauma can be beautiful. They stitch these hopes and dreams into something that resembles me, to drape over mannequins, hoping not to be noticed, while I ache to make something of myself. Stress makes for a poor building medium. It is no color or structure. It is not shiny or malleable, and it crumbles to the touch. It works like bleach to any ideas carrying color, killing up to 99.9% of everything it comes in contact with, leaving me stuck in liquid form, swooshing around a cocoon. I have no idea how to escape. There is no space for wings to spread in this box I call my comfort zone, home to dying dreams and toxic amenities, to unaccomplished goals and self-inflicted obscenities. Embedded with an obligation to creation, we've been stagnant as of late. Words wear cloaks so as not to be read, and images wear sheets so as not to be seen. It's cloudy up there, between the maze in my brain. The clouds keep the sun away, which keeps the stalemate at play. I do my best with these colors and this paper to paint silver linings under all the storm clouds that follow me. Wade in conversation with spirit. Oops, I just got lost. Sorry. Okay, wade in conversation with spirit. I ponder which identity fits me best. As my pen waits for me to write my name on the paper, we've been estranged, writing with cuffed hands, thought trains stuck in the station, waiting for my life to get back on track, for the rain to conduct electricity and sparks to fly. And I wonder if I'm running from the reality of my life or trying to escape the pressure to create.
See it over there looking like a tall glass of orange juice. And I just refuse to let you become a distant memory. Your beauty strings me along like piano keys as I'm picturing our hearts dancing across this dance floor. Beat moves to the beat, got my heart fluttering. Catch me standing in your perfume, glancing. But can you blame it? I mean, you are hypnotizing. And you have this light that streams perfectly from the pores of your skin. So, yeah, you be glowing. So I'm gonna stare at you while you unaware that you just caught the eyes of me, Mr. Right. But I'm wondering, what are you thinking? Are you sipping on this apple martini? Are you picturing your next romantic evening? Because the wiggling in your seat looks like they got you in your feelings, and now you're smiling. Well, it's pretty, but is it for me? Because temptation to accept your invitation has me wondering what the next move is. But then our eyes lock and your grin makes my jaw drop. So now I'm over here like, bartender, I'm gonna need one more shot, please, and another martini for this special lady. As I walk over in display of my confidence, you got my heart pounding. You don't need to know that. Just sit back and allow this smooth operator to take you out later. Because see, I'm just trying to show you what a night to remember looks like as we dance to the Duke underneath the moon, the wine as we walk and talk about our future endeavors. Like, what do forever look like together? Or is it possible to Cuddle in the snow when it gets cold as the fireplace crackles and we snuggle drinking hot cocoa. Or do you mind if one night we ride through these city lights? I'll drive. Or you know it'd be nice? Slow dancing in the kitchen. You singing your favorite song as we dance and just follow me into my memories as we feed off of each other's energy. And all you have to do is just kiss me. So, what you thinking? And you say, are you gonna say something? And is the apple martini for me? Wait, what's happening? And then you said all I said was hello and just started staring. Thanks, you got caught me another daydream. Well, that's embarrassing. Well, at least he's laughing. Yet time's passing. Like, what do I say? So I go into a huddle with my inner self, like, compliment her dress or tell her I bet she looks good naked. No, Georgia, you stay out of this. But it could be a little bit more charming. You know, I bet her hugs all warm me. Oh, yes, I love you. Nah, that might be a little bit too soon. But look how she moves with so much style and grace. Like, what should I say? I mean, it is the fourth quarter and we're on the eighth, and we just got to make this play. Okay. Good. Excuse me. Good evening. You giggling, you say, oh no, you winning. Because see, I like a little bit of corny and I see you trying not to be, but go ahead, open up. Talk to me. Good, because I didn't know how long I was gonna hold up that spectacle, but hello. My name is MariEl, and I'm the most recent victim of Cupid's therapy.
It's not a monologue because it's not a secret and I'm not ashamed of it. Unfortunately, there's an open dialogue about my vagina now, a societal microscope with sex as the slides. Therefore, I'm going to answer some questions one time only to prevent a second. So I'll share a listicle from someone who had both testicles and a vulva in the same lifetime. 1. Conservatives wrongly claim my vagina is a dandelion, a weed caught by a lawnmower, mangled and sutured. However, I'm ripe for the plucking with someone I can be trusting. I'll require a patient partner to work past the trauma of being equipped with the wrong bits and forced to use the wrong hall for years through the back door to my bedroom to half enjoy womanhood as the stigma is staggering. 2. My vagina was molded into a sea conch, spiraling throughout like a fractal, resounding to the infinite echo of pleasing sounds between the walls of mountains. The possibility of what can be inserted is endless, sands of an hourglass, dribbling down a countdown of the time till someone can swim in my ocean again. Waves crashed down on me, dribbling out afterward onto the twisted bed sheets, cradling my body with comfort. 3. My vagina will always be assigned male, a mistake a doctor made that can never be corrected. I need to use a medical grade dilator every day to remind me that my vagina's storefront will close if I don't attend to it. Like a surgeon is the valet forever holding the keys to my contentment. My penis was thrown out of an OR as biohazard material, losing something unwanted and dangerous to my mental health. Yet I'm still going through hell to be recognized as myself. 4. Why must I continue telling you? I'm begging you. It's the same story. My vagina, not yours. I'm no longer jealous because it's mine and I own it. Still, I own the onus of proving I deserve it to an administration hostile toward my earning it. I found the beauty of damaged skin, and like my kin, I aspire to dream that society can accept it, accept me, and affirm the reality of my experience. I am a woman, and I've always been one to deny my difference, but now I've grown to love embracing it. Please create laws to fight creationism and create normalization of me. Because I deserve it. I deserve to exist.
I've seen all the red flags, but red is my favorite color, so I folded them up and used them as napkins to wipe the drool coming from my mouth as I lusted over this nigga. And somehow I fell in love. I was 15, arguing about bullshit on MySpace with some chicken head hood rats. Yes, I said hood rats with an S because it was more than one. Changed my last name to his with big bold numbers of our anniversary date as if that validated some shit. As if it made it okay that he was coming home to me like, bitch, you're 15, home to who? Arguing, crying, chasing down a nigga who I see now ain't give a damn about me. I remember the day I walked into class, my best friend looked at me, I laughed, she already knew I did some dumb shit, so she cried. And at the time I didn't understand why, but now I know she knew my worth more than I did. I gave my virginity up to a nigga who had already fucked up more than once at that. And even though I seen the signs, ignored them, I still took him back. Nigga went to jail a month later, and there lay my dumb ass holding him down because that's what women do, right? I was 15. So eventually I grew tired and left, but damn, on MySpace, arguing with chicken head hood rats. I was 16. I seen the red flags, but red is my favorite color, so I folded them up and used them as napkins. I needed something to wipe the tears that would flow like rivers every time I heard, bitch, don't make me come over there and beat your ass. Fear trembling in my body from the threats I knew better than to take lightly. I heard stories before of how he beat his baby mama ass, but hit me, it felt unlikely. It had to be. And often we tell ourselves to let the good outweigh the bad, so I figured I was missing love at home. I had to find it somewhere. I remember being slammed up against the walls, pinned with hands around my neck, treated like a rag doll. One night I was forced to choose between walking a total of 30 blocks to get my ass beat, or if I have to come to you, it will be much worse. I took the walk, only for him to never lay a hand on me. He just knew the fear was enough. And I'm starting to see that the threats hurt more than any actual hit. I still stayed. 2 years even I had to 2 years even after I had to look the barrel of his gun in the face, threatening to shoot me like it was simple to do. It didn't matter the time nor the place. He would have done it. I left to college a few hours away and still found myself skipping out on parties. Because there ain't nothing for me to drive up there and embarrass you while you trying to have fun. I was 18, young and in love. Eventually I grew tired and left, but damn. Slammed against the wall, pinned up with hands around my neck and treated like a rag doll. I was 20. I seen the red flags, but red is my favorite color, so I folded them up and used them as napkins. I needed something to clean the food off my mouth I was eating as I sat in a 2-hour train ride almost every weekend to go see him. When we first started talking, he told me he wasn't sure he was ready for a relationship, so for 5 months we sat on the phone every day for hours until the sun came up. And there I was, 20 and in love. I'm not sure if he psyched himself out and made me his girlfriend. Either way, I should have listened the first time because 4 years is a long time to throw something down the drain. But if I had to pick a favorite ex, it would be him. Because everything in the moment was perfect. And maybe that's what hurt the most. If I was ever treated with the utmost respect, it was with him. I knew for the first time what it meant for a man to really love me. To shower my entire body with kisses as soft as a 5-foot teddy bear he bought to surprise me. The one I always said I wanted. It was everything I imagined a fairy tale love to be. I loved his family and they loved me. And I never felt the need to go through his phone, but the one time I did, I realized why they say don't go knocking on the devil's door. Because more than likely he'll answer and you'll get more than you bargained for. When I confronted him, he just said, I don't think I want this relationship anymore. After damn near 4 years, so yes, I fought for him to stay. And for a while, I felt like it was working. Maybe it was because my brother was killed and he felt sorry that I was hurting, but I realized it wasn't the same. I was 24. Eventually grew tired and left, but damn, don't go knocking on the devil's door. Now, my last relationship started shortly after I turned 24, jumped right back in. Of course, I seen the red flags. And red wasn't even my favorite color anymore. It was black. But I was so busy using them to wipe my tears and his. Trauma bonded, family died the same year. Now, this one came with baby mama drama, but it wasn't shit I was trying to hear. He helped me in my darkest moments, made me think I could face my fears, but If I ain't never dealt with an insecure nigga ass nigga, baby, let me tell you. Hey, Michelle said it best. You can't raise a man, and damn, that shit is true. Now, I thought I was Inspector Gadget. That boy had every way to find information about me. Like, damn, who's the bitch here? Like, damn, how you get here? How the fuck you find a nigga I used to fuck and 450 likes on one picture? And most of all, why the fuck did it even matter? This nigga would ask me how many people I fucked, who I fucked, how I fucked, who I sucked. Like, what the fuck? You want the imagery for what? You like how I do it anyway, so why you allow yourself to envision me fucking them the same way? You scared I did it better for them? I probably did, because the way you accuse me of shit I never did turned me the fuck off. I know I ain't perfect, but when I say that's the most toxic nigga I ever been with, like the first nigga I ever hit physically, took me out my character, that's when I knew I had to leave, because ain't no way I'm at my graduation giving my speech and you texting me on stage like, what about me? Nigga, you'll never get the satisfaction of hearing your name in a big moment like that. As if you the reason I got this cap, got this gown. No, you the reason I almost drowned. A clown ass nigga. So yeah, leaving him was a must. Of course I left him in the dust exactly where he needs to be. My favorite color is black. Cause I had to learn them red flags ain't representing no love. That should be representing blood, heartache, anger, rage. And now I'm glad I'm at the age where I ain't jumping into shit cause red ain't my fucking favorite color no more.
I found God at the corner of North Davidson and 36. 4'6", sleek something, wearing a silver lining as if it was a thrift store hand-me-down, a walking riddle in truth's clothing, an oxymoron that graduated top of her social class. If a street sailor could secure a sliver of her hair, slide it into a compass, it would steer you straight through her seasick legs into my God, you're beautiful. A man is what she was searching for. All she found was projected insecurities. See, the funny thing about insecurities is that they secure what's within. So often one finds in others what's often found within. There's no sin in suicide when you're in desperate need of any sort of savior, and so on. She's killing herself, trying to turn her next car accident into some type of working, healthy relationship. Dusk, speed up, love, self-help. Dawn, before ever learning to love another horizon. Pump your heartbreaks, baby. Love will bleed your brake lines dry. She's been on her knees, praying so much to move forward, getting ahead that sinners at mere sight of her have paid it forward for getting some head. Wedding band, minivan, mortgage note, shit. Give me some head, future. Stop her. She's getting too far ahead of herself. Can't remember the last time she's learned anything. Trust women as much as she trusts herself. Lonely and beautiful is no way to go through life. It only proves you coward, too scared to project next to another insecurity, just as scared of love as you are. Drop dead gospel gorgeous, a busted levy along the chastity belt of fucking beautiful. Stop beating yourself up so much. Cause if you're so Billy Badass, baby, press charges against yourself and parole on at the corner of North Davidson and 36. Gallery crawling drunk off Cabernet Sauvignon and gravity. You were a champagne supernova by the time I reached my loft. At the corner of North Davidson and 35th, you were picked up by an arguing car crash. You couldn't turn peace treaty for life-healthy relationship, and I regret never interrupting you, silver lining, with excuse me, miss. You don't know me from any other miracle. Put your storm cloud on hold. You were never bred to wear ugly wells. Let no living person give you that kind of power. Please love self more than God has ever loved anyone else.
Harry Potter at the Tri-Wizard Tournament. But America's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry didn't get no invite? I mean, I get it. But I do think it's a little dumb not to let us in the door, because we would have given that old Voldemort a what for? Me and my boys would be bringing an AK, making sure that no one's getting Avada Cadaver, but better bring a body bag, because somebody's gonna have a cadaver. He ain't the only one who's got them deathly hollows. He ain't the only one, and this chamber's got a full of secrets with hollow tips. Let me be the Dark Lord. No, hell no. I'm gonna be luminous, the way that I'm lighting up the place, not just his nose. I'll put another hole in his face. You can call the Natty pot while she's still wearing a cap. You see, my people done been broke up, done been broken, done still ready to give you a what for. Yo, why the fuck, England, ain't nobody done shut this man up? We ain't scared of the smoke. No, I've lit in fire to every poem I've wrote. Even my girl knows how to Hufflepuff. If you ain't caught by the Raven's Claw, then you can sure as hell catch this eagle beak. We ain't scared of a snake in the grass, or the garden, or a cemetery, and I ain't got 3 heads, but I still got that dog in me. And no, it ain't Goofy. A dismantled machine gun named CP Maze could come along with me. The other head is a Nemo who could drag you 20,000 leagues under the sea. Yo, Voldemort, what more are you ready to do from this? My cousins and me done proved a long fucking time ago that some of us can fuck around and not find out a goddamn thing. I heard what you done did to that Potter boy, what you did to his daddy, but his mama? Man, I don't like you. Our girls around here done been used to catching copperheads. You about to catch some brass ones. Oh, a cruciato. I'll tell you where you ought to go. You ought to go all the way from an escape artist down to Dr. Z and let every single one of them get their kicks in. I'll tell you what you ought to do is get lost. Oh, if I could have been there. Oh, if me and my family could have been there. I would have told them Slytherins to quit trying to slide in. I mean, Snake, man, I like you, but she's just not that into you. Now, my pastor ain't gonna like me telling you this, but sometimes, Snape, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. And that there side-build Trow Rainey is cute as a button. She's a half-blood, and you're the half-blood prince, and neither one of you is half bad. Now, me and Seamus ain't gonna miss when we brandish more than our fists and then crack this fist and get ready for Ray to come join us as we crack open a bottle of moonshine that a legend and Lupin could enjoy and have ourselves some love. Sound good? Well, then let's do it, y'all. We'll show this old Tom how to bang, bang, bomb, and that's the deal. Because that goblet's not the only thing that fires. You know, after the party, it's the after party. So riddle me this, Tom. Can you hear that rattle? Let's put this demon to death, y'all. And I'll invite all of y'all to the potluck. We ain't gonna have some of my mom's angel eggs. Oh, yes, in my home, we call them angel eggs because we don't give the devil nothing. Click, clack. Boom!
Welcome to the room where I worship myself. A sanctuary stitched from satin and velvet, where even the air learns to love me in my undress. A place where my reflection is not just an image, but a hymn sung back to me, word for word, truth for truth. In the center stands the mirror, framed in gold, edges kissed by the fingertips of ancestors who knew what it meant to build altars from broken things. It speaks in a voice I know too well, soft yet commanding, a melody crafted in my own tongue. Come closer, it says. I step into the light, draped in garments that tell stories of survival. Each thread is a history lesson, each layer a love letter to the woman I've built from scars and laughter. First, my cloak slips off, lined with the whispers of past demons, their claws now dulled. The voices turn to lullabies. They tried to haunt me, but I made them my muses, fashioned them into part-time stylists. The mirror hums approval, its surface rippling like water. Next, my blouse unbuttons, one clasp for every stretch mark. I've penned into poetry. My stomach, soft and rich with stories, is a canvas they could never replicate. No matter what parts of me I unclothe, they still gonna hate my image, seat that at the curbs of my resilience, swear this woman isn't the result of difficult missions. The mirror laughs, not unkind but knowing. When they hate, what they hate is what they cannot touch. I smirk as my skirt pulls at my feet, a cascade of victories sewn into fabric. The mirror watches, its voice thick with pride. The rich blood you bleed cannot satisfy unhealed beings. They drink from wells, not oceans. You, my love, are the tide, a constant stream of consciousness. I stand now in my truest form, naked, but draped in my own essence, skin shimmering like potion's aftermath, hips carved from the dreams of deities, eyes full with the fires I dared to let burn. This is the woman I've built, layer by layer, year by year, a masterpiece in constant revision. See how your nakedness terrifies them. See how your truth becomes their torment. But you are untouched by their hatred. And I believe it, because no matter how vulnerable I stand, this reflection loves me like no one else can. It pours its devotion into me, filling the cracks I once thought were flaws instead of spaces to bloom, tending to my world tree. I touch the glass, feel its warmth, warmth mirror mine. You're the potion, the recipe, the goddess of vision. They will choke on disbelief, but you will drink deeply of yourself, forever replenished, and they will see. So here I am, dancing with my reflection, a duet of skin and soul. They can hate my image, but they will never own it. They can seep at my gifts, but they will never unwrap me. I am a mirrored goddess, a testament to what love looks like when poured inwardly. And no matter how naked I become, the truth on my tongue remains. I am my own altar, my own worship, my own salvation. Thank you, I whisper. And the mirror replies, I love you more.
Happy birthday, Mom. Today, you are 55 years old. Recently, my best friend's Tommy had to go through something difficult. His grandpa Lou died and has been taking it hard. He has come to me seeking support, but it is hard to fully understand what he is going through. He probably thinks I know what it's like to lose a family member, but you taught me early on that you're with me everywhere I go. The only experience I had with death is the time I made friends with a bug named Melville. Don't ask me how I remember it, but it is a vivid memory, almost as if it was a cartoon. You taught me early on where I will always find you and where I have you. Every time a gentle wind blows and caresses me, that is your hand on my face. Every time I get tired playing outside in the summer heat, I seek the shade the trees make, for I know that is where I will feel your sheltering embrace. Every time I look in the mirror and see the constellation of new freckles on my cheeks, I just think that was you, cosplaying as the sun, tickling me all my life. You've always known how to make me smile. Every time it rains, I step outside and lay in the long grass to be held tight by you as happiness soaks me in your tears of joy. The older I get, the less afraid I become because I know you're always with me. I just wish I can be there for Tommy. Although you're always with me, I often wonder how you'd be as a human being, how bedtime stories or lullabies would have sounded in your voice, what it would have felt to have held your hand. The closest to I've been to holding your hand is whenever I use your gardening tools to plant orange daisies every year, just so I could see your hair blow in the breeze in the form of flower petals. Thank you for the worlds you have given me. I love you. Forever with you, your little Chucky. P.S. Dad says hi. He loves you, and that he will see you soon.
Healing is sacrificial when you compress how you feel, just so breathing can be so easy again. How do I describe that my thoughts are grave digging without bringing the mood down? I've been real good at separating my grief to hold space for others. Screaming in an internal dialogue, music soul child, I wear my echoes let my audio display in agony. The percussion of my heart breaking drums riddle on my bones fractured through conclusions that I jump for. I strip my essence for acceptance to be out of shape of my awareness for healing. Can never read the notes to tune the loss of my heartbeat. Stressed to be in sync once again. And it's at this point, the rhythm is in death. Carrying out my favorites in line, and how do I cover my heart when healing is sacrificial, suppressing its pain because all you know is how to do and to keep going because the thought of sadness is a parasite that freezes your every move, biting my capacity off to be mindful of everyone's. How do I describe that death has a doormat in my head that I'm taxing my anger and neglect for this body? Simply because I outlived family, that I've been playing ghosts, just to be told that my depression isn't that deep, so tuck it away, where it tends to attach itself to my broken pieces. Deep, like standing ocean level, breathing in sorrow, like being in a sunken place in a setting of calmness with fire all around me. Deep, like these mental wounds, not knowing if you're okay. I have a problem with dark humor, especially when it involves children. You trying to crack me up or hide that you're cracked up. Oh, that wasn't funny. You say no Diddy to everything because homophobia and pedophiles tickles your fancy, huh? No Diddy. See, it's okay for you to abuse predator jokes for punchlines, but a drug joke has you itching. Did I hit a nerve? You're hilarious like a hit to the funny bone. Where's the humor in waiting for a child to turn 18 saying age ain't nothing but a number that I have no sense of humor for disagreeing? What's funny? You want me to lighten up? But you're preying on kids sitting behind that computer, tweeting out X thoughts chirping to social media, where the likes is thrice the age of the victim reels, TikToks encouraging underage jokes. Birthing sick thoughts and daycaring with laughs like a Wonka ticket. Fishing for kids where justice comes up short and y'all sing the offense away. Thinking things be sweet. What's so funny about a bunch of M-Styles populating the island of youth? Touching willies and cookies. Stay quiet on the set while manipulating all the man that's binding and Drake bells to Brian pecking orders. Adults being exposed for exposing themselves to kids like a box of cereal because tricks are for kids, right? Finding your footing like Dan Schneider, hiding his creep waves behind slime. You're telling me that it's dark humor that I need to lighten up. Well, here's the kick. You see, the Citizen app shows me registered offenders, but you have to pay to you have to pay to see their face on the app, but can't find a missing kid in the Amber Alert. See the kick yet? Swept rugs like a church boy jokes that you show amongst the pews. Voices in the choir being abused, but a priest talk isn't the confession y'all looking for. Swept rugs like family closets, the one that kept the creepy uncle around, like hugs turned unwanted massages into disgust wrapped like the skeleton's best kept secrets. Swept rugs like magazines idolizing predators, adding filter to the clip, playing oblivious R. Kelly shit where adults be smooth criminals. What a world we live in, where instead of loving someone your age, y'all groom the youth and cloud their head with love to stuff your desires. Jack in the box trying to jack a younger box. And somehow y'all clickbait real problems for fun, like using reels for numbers to claim your eternal evil, to laugh and say ain't no party like a Diddy party. Would you use your mouse to copy and paste if the victim was someone in your circle? Or do you only see human in other lives? Or do you only share concern if it attacks your sexuality? No Diddy. Don't at me. Save it for your stories because in an instance, you thought an adult touching a minor was worth a repost and laugh. And I guess that's why I struck a chord. This is the season to be jolly because cops carry knives that don't need canines when they bark their orders on a black skin, then give their bullets a new decorum with our blood. Okay, maybe that's too much. It's cliche, but even Mariah can't carry my patience with these holidays. These days it's short like an elf for me the deadline to give hope. Gifts be Negro screaming in this world's Christmas carol, the one where the ghost of my ancestors past echoes present fear with a future of being uneasy. But I guess I'm supposed to cheer, be excited for Christmas, countdown for the new year. Yet I understand the Grinch more and more each year as I try to smile. My mood is dampened from grief, stamping memories in my head. The pictures of loved ones fade. Then I remember reading that Christmas was Brianna's favorite holiday. It's become apparent that there's people tired of mentioning her name, but have no problem reminding us that grandma got run over by a reindeer. Y'all can forget names, but can recite if you're on Santa's naughty list. The holiday colors are red, where liberty splatter our blood, liberty of death, but death seems to be winning. Jingle bell rock, right? I heard Floyd call out for his mom. Jingle Bell Rock, right? My bad, I don't know this tune. How about this one? On the first day of oppression, Can gave me a target on my back. On the second day of oppression, rednecks gave me nooses and a target on my back. On the third day of oppression, the government installed crack within the community. Rednecks handed me nooses and Can put a target on my back. On the fourth day, they chased a mod in cold blood, per the usual, cold-blooded like our iron is low. They raised their iron until our screams emulates a siren as if the iron held me more value than the tags priced toward our toes. Oh, that's the wrong song. We need something more peaceful. Christmas is here, bringing up all my anxiety fears. People presented in caskets, mothers at the morgue unwrapping their babies, fathers gifted with the trauma of burying their boys while sending a search warrant for their daughter. And y'all want me to be happy when the world is currently suffering. Nonchalant has become the recent author of destruction, a puppet, mastering our turmoil and depression, hanging us at the kiss of death, bodies floating like a mistletoe, televising our killers with no justice, just excuses. A silent light, no longer a holy night. All was calm until our peace was shadowed by destruction to be configured in to make us look like animals. Do you hear what I hear? The screams, the cries. Can, did you know that your lies on the phone can lead to my demise? How a white lie can reprise the Central Five? Do you know what it's like walking by officers and thinking you survived? I'm supposed to celebrate. Do you know the times we're in? Do I need to quote more songs for you to understand that we are treated like shit? We have lost someone day after day while being told our lives don't matter. Yes, it's too much this season to be jolly because cops still carry those nines.